Hey guys, Youthful Yields here. So, I mean, first of all, one heck of a week, to say the least. There's a few major problems that occurred this week, that obviously caused our portfolios to drop 4.5%, which is very significant, obviously. Um, but let's go into those in a second. First things first, I wanted to address the elephant in the room, which is Bitcoin. So, first of all, Bitcoin had a crazy week, and I'm also very stupid for holding. So, it reached, I'm pretty sure it's new all-time high, or it was very close to, you can see 73K, um, which is crazy, right? But what ended up happening is it dropped because I basically saw this price. I kept getting notifications on my phone, and it was saying, oh, it's at 72,000, 71,000, 70,000, 72,000, 73,000, blah blah blah. Well, I was like, "Oh, I don't want to be like, it was FOMO. I I didn't want it to go to 100K, and we missed out on all this stuff. And this is where the emotion comes in with like trading, which is terrible. Because what had ended up happening is I waited so long that it dropped, 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 and now it's sitting around 69,000. We're still up. But what I've done to prevent this is I've actually put in, I don't know if it shows on this at all. Anyways, I put in a sell order, I believe, to where if it hits 72K, I think it will basically sell all of my Bitcoin. Because, yeah, I mean, I can't remember, but I think we lost 3% just off of that movement. Now, luckily, it's at 69,000, so I might prevent, put it another like stop limit or something, so we don't lose all our own money. Maybe at like 67,000 or something. Maybe where I guess this was like a break even point. I don't really know, but that kind of sucks. But that honestly was fine because I think we only missed out on like 20 total dollars or something, or very marginal different, or very marginal amount of money because it's not that big in our portfolio. It's 13%, which is, I guess, okay, but that was not the problem. So let's move on. Misty, I don't know if that's bugged. Well, according to this, it's basically stayed even, which I cannot complain. Just also kind of weird that this is green and this is red. Because obviously they're about the same kind of thing. But yeah, so I mean, if anything, it lost like 6 cents, which isn't major or anything. So I'm fine with this. Obviously, our total return has gone down though, a little bit over the last little bit. And that's because the dividends were paid out though. So, I mean, I'm just going to keep holding this. I still like Misty. It hasn't fallen or anything, and this is going to go back up. And you can see also that followed the same trend. Obviously, when Bitcoin was on the rise, this is around the same time where Bitcoin hit like 73K. So yeah. Um, moving on to XPXL. Not a good week. I mean, so the entire market last week was down, like Nasdaq, Dow, and also S&P, obviously. So we're gonna feel these kind of weeks, and with the 3x leverage ETF, obviously we're gonna feel it a little bit more. So that being said, we're still only down like 1% so far. So I think this next week we're gonna have a rally, and so this is gonna go back up, hopefully. Fingers crossed. So honestly, this 5%, that's actually, I mean, it hurts, but it's not like the end of the world. Until we start dropping more and more, then I'm not really going to be concerned. And that's just something you have to take in, like, that's just something you have to have in mind when you hold something like a leverage ETF, is it's going to drop heavier, obviously, than a normal 1x fund. So but I don't mind a drop like this as long as it's not 20%. That's fine. We can gain back 5% very fast. So now, what really hurt was the Coinbase earnings report. This last week we lost 8.7%. Just when I thought we were getting back up there with Coney and, we were like minus what, 17, 18% total returns. And that's again not calculating in the dividends. But now we're back up to 20, almost 28%, which is just, oh, man, I hate this fund, man, right now. Obviously, it pays decent. You can see our last dividend was on the 18th and it paid $60. But man, it hurts. And this just started recovering from the last earnings report, which also didn't do that well. So I think my game plan for here is hopefully we can stick through to where it earns a little bit more and we can kind of calculate our actual total return, make sure we're even, because it says we're down $269. And if you do the math, I mean, on this one, on Robinhood, we've only earned about $120 back, you know. So really, we're down about half of this, but that's still really bad, obviously. It's just a matter of how much, you know, what is the look here? And you can see this also is Bitcoin focused, but also this was before the earnings report, I'm pretty sure. So I don't know, man. It was up 6% for the week, and then the earnings report, and also Bitcoin fell, so now it's down 9% almost. So I think my exit strategy is basically just try to recoup it to a break-even point, or stick through a little bit longer. I know we're technically halfway through the dividend cycle at this point, so maybe we wait until the next dividend payout. Actually, I'm not sure if it shows us how much it was. I can't see the 18th. Let's just see real quick. On the 18th, it was like here. So, I mean, probably like $15, let's just say. So I guess if you look at it that way, we're down, what, $2.50. So I don't know. My issue is even with another dividend payment, if it stays this price, obviously we're going to be earning less dividends from the next payment, as well as we're I don't know. So yeah, that's kind of my exit strategy. Hopefully, we can get to a break-even point with this because this is the largest portion of my portfolio, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, XPXL is. This really hurts, and I'm just honestly very sick and tired of single tickers kind of destroying the portfolio. I can deal with an XPXL going down a little bit because, first of all, it doesn't go down that much, for one. And it also goes down less frequently. With an event like this, it really hurts the portfolio. It's not just Coinbase. It's like Amazon. I had the same issue. It hurts. So I kind of want to move on from there. And probably roll this into something like XTT, which is next. And well, I guess this is a good segue. But XTT also lost about 3%, like I said. So this is somewhat surprising. I'm not gonna lie, because I think SPY honestly didn't even lose that much this last week because obviously we would have felt that about the same with the XPXL. You can see 1.5%. So this was like a lot, you know. But at the end of the day, if you still look at our total return, it says minus $9, and we've gotten, I mean, definitely not close to $9, but obviously this is kind of a little bit of we're starting to go down. Um, but I don't know. We can always DCA. Our current cost average is higher than right now, so maybe we roll the Coney money in here to get those dividends racking up. Because obviously the dividends here are still really small, but that's just because these are more stable funds, so the dividends are going to be less and less. But I don't know. Still nothing too scary. 3% is not terrible for this, and I do have some hope that it can kind of recoup. You can see, we've had worse events than that. This was like 4% down from theirs, difference wise. So I think as long as we don't get them down another 4%, we're still probably going to rebound. You can see there's like these two events here. So yeah, again, not happy, but it is what it is. With Nvidia also down, like I said, the entire market last week was down. So I expect a rally this next week, hopefully tomorrow. We'll see though. But Nvidia only down 1.5%. You can see our total return minus $30 roughly. And if you add these together, we're actually a little bit net positive. So, oh, no, sorry, I didn't see this other one. Yeah, so we're actually above here. So honestly, I'm still going to hold a little bit longer, probably. Hopefully, I don't know. I gotta check when the next earnings date is actually. Let's see. I don't know if they have any information here. Uh, let's see here. November 20th, I think. I don't know if I'm reading that correctly, but I don't know. I'm happy with this. I just might sell out before the earnings just because I don't want something like Coney destroying us again. So, and last but not least, USD down 6.5%. But honestly, we're still very, very, very up 13%. And I will completely, like, that's fine with me. I know this is going to rebound. So, well, I have, fingers crossed it rebounds. And this is a leverage ETF as well. So I expect this to go back up. I mean, obviously, Nvidia is actually Nvidia is the largest holding of at USD. I think it's like 29 or 33% or something in that range. It's like a third of the portfolio. So I'm honestly fine with it going down a little bit when Nvidia goes down. So now something I want to mention though is I did pull the trigger. I basically moved all of our assets into where I'm in the process of moving everything on Robinhood over to M1 Finance, as I said I was going to. I'm pretty happy with this so far. So there's that. You can see I basically transferred some funds. Basically all the liquid cash or all the cash that we have in our current portfolio on Robinhood side, I basically transferred roughly that amount over here because right now, on my leverage ETF half of my portfolio, you can actually see TQQQ is down about 3%. So I actually want to, buy this in the hopefully quote unquote dip. Hopefully this doesn't go down. And I've heard rumors of this. This is probably going to go down, but only time will tell. This is still less than it was last week, so I don't mind. And I am trying to expand this position more and more. In fact, at one point or at some point, I'm probably going to sell the XPXL and put it all into BTOL and TQQQ with this 50-50 split. But we'll see on that. I don't remember how to do this quite. I'm not sure how to look at all the pies here, but essentially, maybe on here, I don't actually know. Anyways, eventually, I'm going to have these basically split into two different pies. Now, I kind of talked about this previously as well, where you can have different types of portfolios. So here, like I said, I have my leveraged portfolio that I'm working on, and then I'm going to hopefully have a different pie or almost like a different portfolio that will be for dividends focused stuff. So essentially what it's gonna be pretty cool because let's say I put in $1,000 this next month, I can make it so 70% of it goes to dividends and 30% goes to the leverage ETF stuff. I don't know if that's going to be the percentage that I want, but we can have it. So literally with the click of a button, it goes in 70-30, and then within each portfolio, we can actually set target amounts as well, like this 50-50, for example, which I think is really cool. Um, Obviously, in this case, with 50-50, it's honestly not that hard to manage. But when you have like, 10 funds, it kind of gets cumbersome to manage. And what's really cool is the way I have it currently set up, at least. M1 Finance has this cool thing called dynamic rebalancing, which essentially allows you to not actually sell anything, but instead it's a very tax effective thing. It basically just allocates more money into that position. So in this case, because our amount on TQQQ is slightly lower than 50%, it's going to allocate more than, like, let's say if we added $100, it'd allocate a little bit more than $50 into TQQQ to get as close to 50% as it can, while also trying its best to also bump up BTOL. So it's really cool. In fact, in one of my early videos, I basically made a tool that basically does the same thing. And so it's a very nice thing for in terms of taxes, like I said, because you don't have to sell, let's say, half a share to fix or rebalance your portfolio. So it's kind of nice. So, but yeah, we have transfers from Robinhood. That's probably going to still take the entire week next week. Hopefully, it's going to be, nothing longer than a week, but we'll see. Usually, this kind of stuff takes about 5 business days. So hopefully by next video, I'll have it all in M1 Finance. And like I mentioned last video as well, I really like M1 Finance's dividend tracking tool. I've seen it on other people's videos where you can track basically, obviously, your dividends over time, as well as just the dividends for each thing. On Robinhood, they make it kind of annoying. They just added this thing, right? I don't think they have it on the desktop, but they have like a a portion called like realized gain on the mobile app. The issue is they still, I don't think it has anything to do with your dividends, especially if you have drip on. So you can't really track your total dividends unless you go into each of these funds, scroll all the way down, find the dividend, and then look at it. So it's kind of cumbersome. But with M1 Finance, there's literally like a bar chart that shows you month per month, I think, or maybe even week by week, that shows you how much you get for the dividends. So it's kind of cool. But I'll update you guys on all of that. Obviously, we're going to be getting some funds in here that have dividends. So next week, if we have those set up correctly, I'll try to display that. But this is kind of a long video because obviously I'm showing off a little bit more of the M1 Finance stuff and explaining kind of the slightly unfortunate truth of having a pretty undiverse portfolio and a lot of single ticker ETFs. So fingers crossed next week will perform better and then we're gonna have a rally, but who knows? Who knows? Anyways, that's it from me, guys. As always, I hope you guys have a fantastic day and I wish you guys a wealthy future.